Teachings. Can you teach me anything of the art? Know that the way of the people is not the same as the art you have come to know. It is not the energy that gives strength, it is knowing the self that gives strength. Teachings of Zertiman speak of such things. Hey, would you teach me the way of Zertiman? Do you know what you have asked? The texture of Dekan's blade flows until it becomes a stone. Walk the path of Zertiman, you must know of the people, and knowing of such things by one not of the people is a difficult matter. There are those not of the people who have heard the way of Zertiman, but they do not know the way. Yeah. I want to know of the people and know Zertiman's teachings. I believe there is wisdom to be learned in such things.
Updated my journal.
Know that I have heard your words, and I shall test them. To learn, you must know the people. To know the people, you must know the unbroken circle of Zertiman. Hakan holds up the stone disc in his possession, and his spider-like fingers hook into its sides. There's a click, and the blades of the circle slide into a new configuration. He reverses the motion and sealing the stone. No, the first circle of Zertiman is open to you. Study it, then I will hear your words. Yeah, I will read the first circle then, in the meantime. Yeah. It means using this. Yeah, this small round stone is the unbroken circle of Zertiman. It is made up of series of interlocking circles that fold out from one to another. The complexity of the plates and intricacy of their links prove the text was constructed by a master artisan. Unlock the first plate. You have to. Your intelligence score determines how many you can unlock. 18 won't be enough to unlock all of these. It gives you new spells each time you get, and I think at certain points buffs to Darkon himself, because he hasn't been able to unlock everything either. Read the first circle. Know that we are the first people. Once all was chaos, the first people were thought drawn from chaos. When the first people came to know themselves, they were chaos no longer and became flesh. With their thoughts and knowing of matter, the people shaped the first world and dwelt there with their knowing to sustain them. Yet the flesh was new to the people, and with it the people came not to know themselves. The flesh gave rise to new thoughts, greed, hate, pain, joys, jealousies, and doubts. All of these fed on each other, and the minds of the people were divided. In their division, the people were punished. Emotions of the flesh were strong, and the greed and hates, and the pains and joys, and the jealousies and doubts, all of these served as a guiding stone to enemies. In becoming flesh, the first people became enslaved to those who knew flesh only as tools for their wills. No, these beasts were the illicit. So people were enslaved by the illithids. The illithids were a race that had come not to know themselves. They had learned how to make other races not know themselves. They're telepathic race that enslave others. They dominate their minds, so they can't do anything other than be willing slaves to them. They were the tentacled ones. They lived in flesh and saw flesh as tool for their will. Their blood was as water, and they shaped minds with their thoughts. When the illithids came upon the people were a people no more. The people became slaves. The illithids took the people from the first world and brought them to the false world As the people labored upon the false words, the Illithids taught them the way of the flesh. Through them, the people came to know loss, they came to know suffering, they came to know death, both of the body and mind. They came to know what it is to be the herd of another and have their flesh consumed. They came to know the horror of being made to feel joy in such things. The unbroken circle is the knowing of how the people lost themselves and how they came to know themselves again. We will examine the circle again. We want to unlock. The small round stone is unbroken circle of the Surgeman. It is made up of serious interlocking. Nah, I don't want to. It's one circle at a time.
What is your will?
So I want to know. Can I talk about your teachings? Yeah, I have read the Unbroken Circle of Surgeman. I want to speak to you more about the way. What did you come to know? Okay, we have few options. I learned that your people were once slaves to Illithid. It seems they committed many crimes. Yeah, I don't. That's not the thing to take out of this. That's just repeating what you read. Yeah, strength lies in knowing oneself. I learned that once someone does not know themselves, they are lost. They become a tool for others.
Updated my journal.
You have come to know the first circle of Surgeman. You not only see the words of Surgeman, you have come to know them. Yeah. Dekan holds up the circle and hooks his fingers around the edges. There's a click, and the place of the circle slide into new configuration. He reverses the motion, sealing the stone. No, the second circle of Surgeman is open to you. Study it, then we will hear your words. As long as he knows the next circle, this is automatic, but at some point he doesn't know the next, and our intelligence score determines if we can unlock it. There's actually something special if you can unlock all of the circles. You get to understand the meaning of the item and the teachings. And there's probably some kind of status boost for Dakan at least. Also, we could get our stats boosted this way sometimes. Yeah. Know that flesh cannot mark steel. Know that steel may mark flesh. In knowing this, Surgeman became free. Know that the tentacled ones were of flesh. They relied on the flesh and used it as a tool for their will. One of the places where flesh served their will was the fields of husks on the false worlds of the Illithids. The fields were there where the bodies of the people were cast after Illithid had consumed their brains. When the brain had been devoured, the husks came to be fertilizer to grow the poison-stemmed grasses of the Illithids. Surgeman worked the fields with no knowing of himself or what he had become. He was a tool of flesh, and flesh was content. It was upon these fields that Surgeman came to know the scripture of steel. During one of the turnings, as Surgeman tilled the fields with his hands, he came across a husk whose brain remained with it. It had not been used as food, yet it was dead. The thought that one of the husks had died a death without serving as food for the Illithid was a thought Surgeman had difficulty understanding. From that thought came a desire to know what had happened to the husk. Embedded in the skull of the husk was a steel blade. It had pierced the bone. Surgeman realized that that was what had killed the husk. The steel had marked the flesh, but the flesh had not marked the steel. Surgeman took the blade and studied its surface. In it he saw his reflection. It was in reflection of the steel that Surgeman first knew himself. Its edge was sharp. its will, the wearer's. It was the blade that would become to be raised against Gith when Zertiman made the pronouncement of two skies. Zertiman kept the blade for many turnings, and many were the thoughts he had about it. He used it in the fields to aid his work. In using it, he thought about how it was not used. The Illithids were powerful. Zertiman had believed that there was nothing that they did not know, yet the Illithids never carried tools of steel. They only used flesh as tools. Everything was done through flesh, for the tentacled ones were made of flesh and they knew flesh. Yet steel was superior to flesh. When the blade had killed the husk, it was the flesh that had been weaker than the steel. It was then that Zertiman came to know that flesh yielded to steel. In knowing this, he became to know that steel was stronger than the Illithids. Steel became the scripture of the people. Know that steel is the scripture by which the people came to know freedom. What did we learn from this?
What is your will?
Out the way of the Zertiman. Second circle. Yeah, this is you haven't learned anything. I learned that not knowing something can be a tool, just like flesh and steel. If upon encountering it you attempt to know its nature and how it came to be. Okay, we gained something. You have seen the words and have seen beyond them. You have come to know the second circle of Zertiman. He makes the circle with a deft motion. He twists one of the links, so one of the blades slides forward, but strangely enough, the stone still appears intact. He hands the blade to you. Meditate upon this teaching, and the knowing of it shall give you strength. When you have absorbed it, you shall know more. Dekan's fingers feel around the edges of the stone circle and he twists it clockwise, links clicking until they have settled into a new configuration. Yeah, the next circle of Zertiman is open to you. Study it. What did we get? Yeah, the second circle is basically a spell. It's a copy of Scripture of Steel in the spellbook. Let's copy it.
It's in my spell book.
It's a bless spell of a sort. +1 to hit, +1 to saves to all friendly creatures. Not bad at all.